Hello friends, welcome back to my studio. Hope you're well. Recently you will have seen me developing this series of landscape paintings and they've been wonderful and I've really enjoyed the palette. And I noticed in this very last one the colour palette changing. I'm going more towards the blues in that range of colours that I mixed, and that's because I've become very drawn to do some coastals, and I think I mentioned that maybe in a vlog or two ago that I'd really like to do some coastal paintings. So it does mean that this series is probably winding up, so that will be available to purchase soon. If you are a member on my website, you will get an email notified about the release of those, so watch out for that. Check your spam or your junk email inboxes for that. And it does mean I get to mix up a new color palette, and I thought I'd show you how I do that. While I've got some lovely blues in this range, I really wanted to base it on this new color that I've got, this Southern Ocean Blue, this lovely, like look how ocean that is with that lovely transparent turquoisey color. So I thought today I would show you how I develop a color palette using my theory on common pigments, and I do have that pigment guide available as a free download on my website as well. If you just again go to the For Creatives page, and you'll see there's a few PDFs there free to download, and my colors grouped in pigments chart is there for you. And today I'll explain how I'm developing a color palette around this color based on that common pigment theory. So let's turn the camera around and have a look how I do that. Here's this Southern Ocean Blue, and I can see the pigment colors in it. So if we say Southern Ocean Blue, and it has PG7 and PB 15.3 pigments in it. PG7 I know is phthalo green. Here, this PG7. So already these two colors, this color has this in it, so they're going to already be in harmony together without mixing any paint, needing to know really any color theory or to make any mixes. So phthalo green is PG7. And then looking at my other colors that I have, what else have I got that's got PG7 in it? That would be an ocean color. And I've got this green grey, antique green, and it is also made up of the phthalo green, so it has PG7, and it also has PW6, which we know is titanium white, and PBK11, which is a black. Other colors that I have now going into this other pigment is mineral blue. It has titanium white, PB29 and PB153. So we've got a nice dark there in with our greeny blues. Another colour that I have that would go really well is this Australian blue gum. And the titanium white's starting to come up a bit. The PB53 and PBK9, again another type of black. It's a greeny black, so that would go really well with these colours. And this Australian blue gum mixed with some titanium blue gives this gorgeous blue. So that'll be nice in the mix. Speaking of the unbleached titanium, it has the PW6, has some yellow, PR101. And as I've said in previous vlogs, this is a really great colour to help mute down these. If we were to add titanium white to these, you would get really minty fluoro sort of colours. So this will be a really lovely colour to add to these, I think, as a mixer. Just popping back to the 15.3 again, because we will need some darks in the piece. This midnight blue has this pigment again, and it also has that in common with the mineral blue, and that'll be a really nice dark as our darkest point in the palette. Now if we look at our color chart now, we are in this range of blue-green here, if I put it like this, so these blue greens, and then the complementary color is red-orange. So coming into these colors here would match really well according to our color chart and complementary theory. So if we bring in, this is the new light orange that I got recently, and it has, interestingly, the white, some yellow, and orange. This is bismuth yellow, and this is pyrrole orange. So that gives us, and then the white tints it down. So there's one of our light colors. And then I wanted another light in there without adding the titanium white, and I found this skin tone light. Has PW6 and the PR101, which goes with our unbleached titanium, and a PO36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 colours, and perhaps with some titanium white as a tint, we'll see. I've already got 9 colours to mix up a palette that have all this commonality. There's another one. And this one. So it has all of these common pigments in them. So my theory is, and I haven't really read about this before, this is just really my thinking on it, so feel free to comment and tell me I'm crazy. But my theory is that these colours will all work together because they have common pigments in them. So let's get to mixing up some of these colours and see what they look like together. Here's our colours on the palette. So the light orange, skin tone, green grey, Australian blue gum, the Southern Ocean Blue, phthalo green, midnight blue, mineral blue, some titanium white, and the unbleached titanium. Look already how lovely they're all sitting together. So let's just have a play and see what we can do with these. As you can see, very quickly we've got so many colours to choose from. I'll have to go back and look at the video footage to see what colours made what. Normally when you would do this, you would be taking notes. Now let's just play around on the page and see how they'd work in a composition together. That's looking really lovely. It might need, just looking at the colour chart here and looking at this deeper reddy orange, and I found this transparent oxide has the 101, which we had, obviously because it's a red, it's in this skin colour here, so that could go really well as an alternative to all of these bluey greens, is to have a little bit of this. Yeah, great. I think that's what it needed, just some other variety of colour in there. So yeah, there we go. There is a way to mix colours where you can see really easily they are all working together well on the page. I haven't had to really go too much into traditional colour theory or really think about the paints. Obviously I'm very lucky to have a big variety of paints that I can do this with, and I didn't go out and buy all of these paints all at once. Of course, I buy them in bits and bobs until I have this big collection of paints. And I know that you can mix up a whole lot of colours just with the traditional red, white, red, blue and yellow, but this just gets me painting so much quicker to have all these colours ready mixed and to be able to look at the pigments and see what works in harmony together very quickly. I can develop a colour palette. Obviously I would paint all this down with the mixes like I've got when I do a tub of colour that I decide really like that colour I'm going to use a lot of. I have the recipe down, or I have my bigger colour swatches, so I can remix that colour every time. And yeah, it's just a really quick way to get a whole palette of colours working well together, and you can get on to what we really want to do, and that is create a painting. And I'll just add that if you work in mixed media, you can very quickly choose what colours you're adding in. So this is very similar to that skin tone. Obviously our turquoise, our yellow and our orange, pale orange colour. And these, as you can see, fit with our colour palette and would be really nice for line. It's a nice suggestion of waves and movement with those lines in there. They're not showing up so well on the camera, but yeah, those colors, because we know in this color palette we have yellow, we have a little bit of red with the oxide, the skin tone, and our bluey green, and away we go. We've got heaps and heaps to respond to with the painting. There we are. Gee, I got all warmed up doing that. So I understand that colour theory can be very difficult because the possibilities are endless, and that's why there's no quintessential here's how to do colour vlog or book out there. There's so many variables. There's new colours coming onto the market all the time, old colours finishing, then a new colour is created to try and keep that colour in the colour range, and then it responds differently to colours, and that's where limiting your colour palette can be really handy as well, so you don't get caught into all of these possibilities. And that's where working with my common pigment colour theory can help you stay in a range. And so yes, then you can just make these swatches. I make these little books that tells me, upside down, tells me this is the Southern Ocean Blue range, and I've swatched up some of the colours, and I write on the back then what colours make up that colour, so I can really easily get back to that colour or close to it when I'm painting. So that's a nice beachy theme for the middle of winter here in Australia. I hope you find it inspiring. And that's it for me this week. Have a lovely week. I'll see you next week. Bye.